This is the Painter's Breakfast, late edition, Painter's Lunch. How are you? How are you? I'm good. I'm doing well. Back up a little more. I always think I have like everything in frame, and then it starts, and I'm like, nope, just a little off. So, today, my fun friends, I have been mostly just kind of relaxing, honestly. We had such a full day yesterday that I had to take like some time to just relax. So I'm trying something new. I've got a mushroom coffee that's supposed to be like something I can take so to help me with my blood sugar. So I'm trying that. I got a no sugar creamer in there. And then we went to this cafe, this Japanese cafe, where they had like all this amazing food. And Alec had this egg salad sandwich called an Eggsando. And it was amazing. And I really wanted one, so I made one for myself because I know how to make them. And yeah, it's pretty nice. You put all your seasonings and all your things in it. And there you go. Mm-hmm. Side back from the bread. So, how to explain yesterday? Yesterday, we went to the Hirshhorn, which is a museum in DC. In the Hirshhorn, in the basement, there is a huge painting the size of a wall by Jean-Michel Basquiat, one of my favorite painters of all time. And I was just blown away by how incredibly beautiful and cool it was. It was a boy and his dog. And it's this huge painting, like the size of twice the size of a man, of a person, like an NBA player. And yeah, it was just amazing. It was amazing. If you go to my website, jawsblakeblog.com, which should be somewhere in the links in the description, you can see all the photos. I posted them up on my website, which is where you should look anyways. mm. I cannot express how much I like this sandwich. Amazing. Um, so, hard boiled a bunch of eggs, pulled them in the freezer, cooled them in the fridge, in ice water for about an hour. Then chopped up a bunch of onions and a bunch of seasoning. Used vinegar, rice vinegar, on the onions. Let them sit for about 10-15 minutes. It makes them soft and kind of a vinegar onion type of thing. And then yeah, you put your eggs in. You peel your eggs, put your eggs in. Use Japanese mayo, mush it all up, and then yeah, you season as needed. Let me see. Repent because you have a sinful lifestyle. That's really funny. Phil K. No. No. It was just really, really good though. And then so next week at the Hirshhorn still, that they have Os Minos, which is a Brazilian brother duo who do murals. So that's the entire top end of the Hirshhorn. If you've never been to the Hirshhorn before, the Hirshhorn is a museum that is a big ring. So it's hollow in the middle, and you can walk through. It's just I don't know how to describe it. It's just this big cylinder, and you just kind of walk. It's got several. It's got an inner cylinder and an outer cylinder, and then it's just hollow all the way through, all the way up to the sky, and it's just amazing. If you haven't noticed yet, if you're saying anything crazy, I'm just ignoring you. I don't care. Let me see. Let me see. Kishan, 100%. Are you BBAP, Katan? I have no idea what you just said. Something about Jesus from Phil. Good luck with that. Nuru, what is your live? What is this live about? Well, I'm trying to tell you about my week. Honestly, I'm an artist and a painter. If you haven't noticed, via the name Painter Files, and so the Hirshhorn, as I was saying, the Hirshhorn Museum is just this really incredible, like cylinder, like two cylinders on raised up, basically, and you walk around it to see all this artwork, and there's just so much insanely beautiful artwork there. I think I have a flyer actually. I'm all unprepared today. Yes, I have on shorts. So yeah, it's just this really cool and like beautiful, insanely beautiful thing. Sorry, I just joined. Oh, okay. No worries, Naru. I'm happy to meet you. I think it's great. We've discovered one another. So they've got all these paintings from everywhere from like the 1890s to about I want to say like 2020, all the way up to 2020. So this is the Hirshhorn's flyers they have, and then they have all these paintings that are on there, which is amazing. And then they also have this one, which tells you even more paintings. And it's an incredible place. Like, I used to love going to museums with my mother when I was a kid in DC, when we lived here. And it was just breathtaking. Like, to see paintings you've only seen in books and in film, to see them up close, like in real, actual, is really just incredible. There was like Picasso's there. I remember seeing Van Gogh's at one point in time. It's just different. It's just so different, so beautiful, and just incredible. Let me see. Sorry, it's been shown. It's about biblical art. I don't know I don't know why you think it's about biblical art. There is no biblical art involved in this whatsoever. But hey, whatever helps you get through the day, my friend. Greetings from New Zealand, by the way. Well, hi. I always wanted to go to New Zealand. I just think it looks like such a beautiful country, and the people seem so amazing. So perhaps one day I'll take my art and I'll go on tour, and we'll go see the world, some more. I've been to some places. Excuse me. I've been to quite a few places in the world, but there's always more to see. You've never quite seen every. I don't know why I'm coughing. You've never quite seen all of the world and all of its wonders. There's always more. It's always expanding and becoming newer and more vibrant. And I love that. SideQuest Sam, what's up? Welcome back. That looks like the king of all egg sandwiches, bro. Yeah, a little bit. It's my lunch. I'm pretty happy about it. Like I said, we went to this really cool Japanese market, and we just had all this food. We had udon, we had nigiri, we had Eggsandos, my wife had a bunch of things. Had some matcha, She had some matcha with some ice cream in it, which was like a coffee drink, which I'm honestly jealous of because can't do it, but it looked amazing. And then as we come out of the Hirshhorn Museum, for those who don't know how to spell it, this is how it's spelled. Might be backwards for you. There was this huge festival going on. So it was this huge Latin American festival. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. I myself, Afro-Latino. So I saw Panama and the DR, threw it up high, had my Brazil jacket on, had no intention of expecting to see those things. And then we just sat there and we just kind of watched and had a good time. There's a big, I recorded a bunch of it. So tomorrow's art video is definitely going to have, now I feel like eating a sandwich. Good, I'm glad. I think it's a good plan. Nothing wrong with it. It was just amazing. The coolest thing about when you're going out to like big festivals and stuff, accidental or otherwise, is that there's so much different music depending on, especially when it's a cultural festival as opposed to like a national festival. There's so much music from so many different places and all the genres of music that they have. So it's just kind of cool. And then, I went to go see Basquiat's painting. And Basquiat was Haitian and Puerto Rican. So it kind of all fit well together. Everybody was like in these big carnival outfits, and it was just really amazing. Like, I had such a cool time with that. I'm also finally making those into prints. Those paintings that we looked at a couple times. So I've got to make about 60. So I've got 10 right now. I've got to do some test prints to make sure the colors are set properly on the paper. And I got to cut them and sleeve them and get them ready for the festival that I'm in, the art festival that I'm in Tacoma Park, on October 19th. So, if you're in the area, in Maryland, please come by. Come say hi to me. I will do some prints probably eventually for my website. So if people want to pick those up, it'll be that way. We bought this like industrial printer and like really good paper and all that stuff. So we're making prints ourselves now. We're no longer using my distributor I was using from before then. I just thought it was too expensive, honestly, for my customers. Like, it was fine cost-wise for me. It was just, what's your website? JawsBlakeblog.com. So JAWS Blake, BLAKE, blog, BLOG.com. And then you can see a bunch of my work that I've been working on recently. You can see some of my paintings I've sold, some of the paintings I'm selling, some more like silly little merch I've made throughout the years. I'm planning on kind of revamping the whole store, but I don't know. What sort of music do you listen to most of the time? Probably like Kumba. Kumba is like a really big part of my listening experience. I listen to like a lot of old jazz, a lot of Kumba, a lot of like calypso, hip hop. If it's good, I'll listen to it. Honestly, it's kind of the general rule of most things. Like you get to a certain stage in your life where like you just listen to what you like, and it doesn't matter what type of genre it is or whatever. I've been currently. Does it help you with your creativity? I think so. I think if you get a good vibe going with some music and you're like in a good mindset, you can just kind of bust through hours upon hours of painting. And that's kind of what I've been working on recently. The last, I don't know, 30 years. I do think streaming sites have made it a lot easier to not have to put on a CD or go to a YouTube channel and make a playlist or put on a record, stuff like that. I've been listening a lot recently to the Sable soundtrack from Japanese Breakfast. That's been a big one for me for the last year or so. It's just nice. It's a nice little album. I think in a lot of ways, you kind of have to figure out what vibe you're going for. And then once you figure out your vibe, it just flows, you know? I forget the name of the musician, but Japan had like a lot of like contemporary jazz artists back in the day, and you can still hear their albums on YouTube, and they're actually just really beautiful, amazing. They're kind of, it's a little out of left field. You don't expect to hear it. It's very like Wynton Marsalis, like Duke Ellington type vibe. It's nice. It's just nice. Kind of a very Miles Davis type, which is nice. Let me see. Do you think different genres of music influence? Sorry, Noru says. Do you think different genres of music influence different types of paintings? For example, listening to rock, it will maybe cause you to paint something real violent. um, I don't know that. I don't know that like it'll get you to paint something violent. I think if you want to paint something with a lot of kind of intense passion behind it, then I would say yeah, go that route. I think that's cool. Let me see. Side quest Sam. Jellyfish sand dollars is amazing. What was your inspiration? Oh man. I'm trying to think. I think the funny thing about a lot of things when people ask artists that is there's so many answers to that question, but to not cop out and give like a long-winded political answer, like a politician would that doesn't answer the question. I think at the time when I did Jellyfish Sand Dollars, I was kind of in like a bit of a funk. My dog had passed away, and I was kind of losing my mind a little bit. And so I just started painting to a insane degree. Like every minute, every waking minute of every hour, I was constantly kind of focusing on trying to figure out the best way to articulate how I was feeling. I gotta look at that painting for a second. I'm thinking about it and I'm like, wait, which one is that one? Let me see. Which one are we thinking of? I think that's always the hard part. Like people ask you like the name of a painting, and you're like, "Oh, that painting," and you're like, "Jellyfish Sand Dollars." Okay, I know which one you're talking about now. Jellyfish Sand Dollars was one of those pieces where I was like half awake, half asleep for about a month and a half. for about a month or three, and it just kind of came out of me organically. It was this doorway between kind of being lucid and being kind of working your way to waking up, if that makes any sense. It's kind of a whole, there's this nimbus aspect to it that's kind of interesting in the middle. I was just doing a lot of that right then. There's so many of those paintings that are, they're leaning more towards abstract and surreal than they are figurative after a certain point. And I've kind of stayed that way for a long time as far as art goes. So that painting is about 5 feet by 2.5 feet. So 2.5 feet wide, 5 feet long. It is difficult to paint small after painting big. I will say that. There's something to be said about like once you've opened up like your wrist and your arms and your shoulders and your back into making larger strokes and putting down art on the canvas, it's somewhat difficult to go back to doing like little paintings. Like it almost feels like you're stuck in a car that's too small trying to draw a portrait. So it's interesting. Thank you for the question though. I'm always happy to answer questions about paintings. They wake me up in the middle of the night to do them sometimes. Sometimes they sit for a while, sometimes they go down, sometimes I put something else up and then I work on that and I come back to them. Sometimes I don't come back to them at all. But I've done so many paintings at this point. It's just kind of how you felt at the time, you know? If that makes any sense. I don't know if that made any sense. That may have been the most wishy-washy America, blah, 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 blah. That type of non-answer. I feel like I answered it, but I may not have answered it. So if I didn't, I apologize. If I did, we did it. We did it. This is a funny one from years ago. I made this as a shirt for the channel. It's the first Painter's Breakfast shirt. It's just an old, crazy, like madman recording, staring at himself in a mirror with a mask on. The mask is like a Bolivian fight mask. Or, I'm sorry, Peruvian. It's a Peruvian fight mask. My friend picked it up when he was a artist in residence in Bolivia for me. And he is Mariano Arana Gomez is probably one of my favorite living artists, and like he's who I consider my contemporary in this time frame. I like the style. It's really cool. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. I like you also. You are pretty cool yourself. But yeah, Tom's good. Producer Tom, the cat. He's doing well now. He's no longer loopy. He's going back to kicking his sister's ass all the time. He's still growing back a shave patch when they IV'd him when he got his teeth cleaned. And his stitches aren't in his mouth anymore. He's pretty happy. It's close to probably about 70 or so degrees today. It's a little muggy. It's always weird how like this time of year it's like humid but it's kind of cold, so it feels colder on the east coast of America. Of the United States of America. I oftentimes end up correcting people about that when they go, "Oh, it's America." And it's like, well, I mean, it's all America. North, Central, South, it's all America. So, But yeah, it's just beautiful. It was such a beautiful day yesterday. We had so much fun. One day I want to do a field trip with the channel where a bunch of locals meet up with me and we need to do a gallery crawl. Grab some food, do a gallery crawl. It's just fun. It'll just be fun. We can joke, we can watch things, we can talk, we can draw, whatever. I just think it'd be so much fun. I got approached recently by a good friend who offered to help me start a gallery if I wanted to. I think the problem I end up with is I have some really great artist friends, but I don't feel like I'm at that stage where I want to stop, like, where I want to stop making art myself and helping someone else sell their art. If that makes any sense. I want to make a bunch of art, continue to make a bunch of art, and do those things. It was brought to my attention last week that a lot of you were really touched by the homeless man we gave a hoodie to, and thought, maybe we should make that into a business where we take donated hoodies and we give them out to the homeless. And maybe we'll like screen print some type of logo on a sleeve or something so that they belong. They're part of a kind of thing. But I'm not really sure how to do that. I mean, other than the obvious easy part of take hoodie, give hoodie. I'm not sure how to do that as a business. It would be a charity, not a nonprofit, because I do need to pay for my living expenses. But I like the idea, though. It's very sweet. And it just made sense. I felt bad because I had on one of my favorite jackets yesterday. I told my wife, I was like, I gotta be honest, it's like a World Cup jacket that I had from about 4 World Cups ago for Brazil. And I told my wife, I was like, I gotta be honest, if somebody comes up to me and asks me if they can have this, I'm gonna say no. I was like, this is, I've had this thing forever. It's one of my favorite jackets. A part of me felt kind of selfish about that, but a part of me was like, it's a little chilly outside, and this is like something you bought when you were, I think I was still in my 20s back then. I've had that jacket forever. I love that jacket. I only bring it out for special occasions. I'm super excited about seeing Los Chimos, though, next week. It's in the top floor of the Hirshhorn, and you have to get tickets. They're free tickets, but you have to get tickets to go and tour it and check it out. And it's just this amazing brother duo who did incredible art. They're like these huge muralists. They're one of the reasons I got into doing murals. I think the funny thing about it is, like, when I think of doing murals now, I think of maybe trying to do like frescoes as opposed to trying to do commercial work. If that makes any sense. Some of you don't know what frescoes are, so I assume it's probably not going to make sense to you. But here we go. There. The frescoes were like a super old way that they used to do paintings on walls. I believe back in like Greek and Roman times. And to this day, people aren't sure exactly how they did them because they're still standing. That to me is phenomenal. Just amazing. They've not been beaten down by the weather to the point where they cease to exist. And I love that. I think that's probably one of my favorite, like the idea of it is so classic and amazing that everything else seems kind of silly in comparison. Because typically when you do murals, you know they're a temporary thing. They're only going to last for as long as the wall is there and as long as the city decides they want to leave it up. Because they own it. They pay you. You do it. And they own it. And then if they decide to just go over it with white paint the next day or commission somebody else to paint over it and do something else, like that, just how it works out. And I mean, that it hurts your feelings, I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely had a few murals go throughout the years, but they stay for a long time, you know? I mean, a piece that is public that lasts 10 years is pretty amazing, actually. So, you know, is as it is, does as it does. I've been working on this week's page for art. I was thinking about it as I was looking at a friend of mine, Maspaz's art, and he does a lot of kind of tile work and pattern work and stuff. And so I've been kind of playing with this idea of maybe kind of a Rorschach type of ink blot and then filling out the rest with kind of patterns and textures, kind of like the way I do with these. Somebody referred to this as my black book, and I was like, well, I mean, it's blue technically, but I understand what you mean. Like for graffiti, I get asked a lot if I did graffiti growing up, in which I always go, are you a cop? You gotta tell me if you're a cop. And I mean, for most part, these are just done so that I can. These are really just done so that we'll just put this right here. These are really just done so that I can practice while I'm not painting giant things, and then they kind of play themselves in a way that they are. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. That they are. The textures and the inner kind of workings of a lot of paintings. Like I said, if you go to my website, you'll see I love texture. I was brought up on texture and textiles and all that stuff. Also, ridiculous stickers I made years upon years ago. Let me see, painter file sticker. This is for packaging actually. And then I got my Reflecto crown and my Reflecto luchador. They are silly, and I enjoy them. I think art sometimes needs to be silly. I think we take too much of ourselves too seriously, and that's just not necessary. Like, just enjoy your ability to enjoy your ability sometimes. You don't have to make everything so hard to say. So yeah, working on those prints. I'm really excited about them. I'll show you one if you want to see. I gotta cut it and do all this stuff, but I'll show you what it looks like nonetheless. And there we go. My newest print. Very beautiful, very nice. Real close. I like how you can see the eyes through the transparency. Very cool. So I'm going to be selling these probably about... I'm thinking I'm probably just going to do like maybe 10, 15 bucks tops. And yeah, it'll be nice for the show. And then, yeah, I think I'll probably just sell prints for that from now on. when I used to sell prints through the distributor, I had to charge almost like $30. And that was just because they were print on demand. And so it wasn't costly to me, but it could be kind of expensive to other people. And prints, the purpose of prints is that everybody who wants to have a little remnant of your work can have that. They can put it up somewhere. They can enjoy it. Or they can just collect it. Whatever you want to do. But, yeah. I think I'm good for the day. I'm going to go work on some more stuff. I got to finish up my art video that's coming out tomorrow on the channel. So I will see you tomorrow in video form. I would say we're going to do another Sketchbook Gang Sunday, but I'm going to be at a gallery Sunday. So that's how that works. But I will see you next week, guys. I love you very much. You're wonderful. You make me very happy. May all your weeks be wonderful. May the art come out of you organically. And may you just have a good week, honestly. There's not much else you can say. I'll see you next time. In or out. Ciao. Bye.